You're tuning in to Let's Talk, a podcast by Volunteer Sports Network where we talk about what's happening in and around Volunteer High School. Let's Talk is brought to you by the support of Diamond Exchange of Kingsport, Farm Bureau of Mount Carmel, and Dairy Cup of Mount Carmel, and a collaboration project with VHS Broadcasting.
Let's talk football today with junior lineman and VSN student executive Elijah Housewright. I'm Josh Sawyer, and I'll be your host today while you tune in to Let's Talk. Elijah, you just got over here from football practice a little while ago, a little rainy day. How did everything go at practice?
Everything, I think it was a great practice. You know, we were learning a few new things to look at for the season and some new plays and stuff like that. So I think it was a great practice. Obviously, it was delayed of going out on the field a little bit, but, you know, we worked through it.
You got in, I guess, a good workout, did some, classroom stuff, putting in some new, I guess, defensive stuff, and got out on the field and got to run around a little bit. Couple days into acclimation day.
We don't always get that classroom session. Sometimes we don't have time for that.
Right.
And most times, not most times, but sometimes we don't have that time to work out. So it was a good day.
We're gonna go through a little bit here today, just some questions that I have for you, just community-oriented, some stuff that you do here at the school and sports. So if you're listening to this VSN podcast, stay tuned because we'll have Elijah Housewright right after this.
Looking for the best place to get a game day meal or snack? Visit Dairy Cup of Mount Carmel to let them do the cooking for you. They've got a large selection of homemade foods and the best ice cream, milkshakes, and hot fudge cakes. They are located at 110 East Main Street, Mount Carmel, Tennessee, right by the Mount Carmel City Hall. You can also call to place orders to go at 423-357-4181.
Elijah, thank you for joining us today. We're happy to have you on and happy to have you with the Volunteer Sports Network. You play a pivotal role on the football field. You're a center, and you also play a role in the VSN organization, and you're part of the student executive team. You're a part of a lot of organizations here and around the school. So tell me a little bit about, your role on the football team, your role inside the school, and then also with VSN.
With the football team, the center's main guy on the line, he's right in the middle. The center is actually the only one that gets to touch the ball every play. So it's an important role to have and position to play. They're responsible for calling the huddle every time, looking to make sure where the ball's at. So it's a very hard but rewarding job.
Yeah, you pretty well have to get everybody, grouped together after the play and make sure everybody's lined up because, just seeing Coach Castle around, he likes uniformity.
Mm-hmm.
He likes everybody to be lined up a certain way, look good, play good.
Some of my in-school activities, extracurriculars that I do, obviously football. I did participate in student government my freshman year. I was a student body representative. I wasn't able to run again my sophomore year because of football and the meetings were after school, and it was just I didn't want to overburden myself with that. But I also participate in Skills USA with my teaching as a profession class.
Mm-hmm. And tell me a little bit about that Skills USA, because you've got to travel to several different schools this year, like here in the community, didn't you? And kind of do PowerPoints and stuff.
Yeah, that
for
was
younger students.
Yeah, so that's our CTE on Wheels program that all the CTE classes go to. And,
okay.
And we just talk about our class, what all it offers. We really focus on it in the middle schools because they're getting ready to get into high school,
mm-hmm.
and they're getting ready to pick their classes and what all they might want to take.
Yeah.
Some of them might not know what all is here at the school to take. So that's a good thing that we get to do. And with Skills USA, we actually went down to Chattanooga to compete in a state competition, the
mm-hmm.
State Skills USA Leadership Conference, and we done a competition called the Sharon Melton Myers Memorial. So we had to do a service project, and
mm-hmm.
we picked to do a Christmas toy drive for our local fire departments around that do a Santa run for the children.
Yeah.
And so we collected toys inside the school, and some people from outside of the school. We had drop-off locations throughout the entire county.
Yeah.
So that was one thing we were proud to do with the class, and along with we actually won that competition. We won first place. So
and how many schools did you have to compete against down there?
Well, there was actually only 3 schools that competed, but throughout the state of Tennessee, overall, with all of our other CT programs, I'd say there was almost every high school in the state, I'd say.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to say all of them, but most of them.
Even going back to my time whenever I was here at Volunteer as a student, it seems like we always had kids participating in the Skills USA.
Yeah.
And it seems like we were always bringing back some sort of hardware.
Mm-hmm.
And, tell me a little bit about how, how that feels to be able to bring back something to the school as important as, the Skills USA stuff.
Well, it makes us proud as the people who actually won the trophy and done all the things with it, but it also makes our school proud and our student body proud. We won something and we get to show that off inside of our school, so we are very proud of that.
We're going to change a little bit of direction here. Obviously, going through, the different types of programs you're in, organizations, your extracurriculars. You have to have some sort of support behind you. Mm-hmm. So tell me a little bit about how your parents support you in doing all this and how they feel about it. And just tell me a little bit about them.
So my parents, I'm very grateful for all 4 of them because I have a stepmom and a stepdad. So I'm very grateful for all that they do for me. I just got my license 2 weeks ago. So
So you've been out riding around, haven't you?
Yeah. So before that, I had to be driven everywhere, literally.
Yeah, I did some driving for you.
Yeah. So that's one thing I'm very grateful for, and whether it be people buying me food when I didn't have it, when I didn't have money, but just feed me and stuff like that. I'm very grateful for all of that.
I've got the pleasure of knowing your mom for several years, working alongside her. Got to know your dad this year and also your stepdad. I've not met your I think I've met your stepmom maybe once or twice, but it seems like you have a good support system around you and you have a younger brother that is coming up through Bulls Gap, if I'm not mistaken. Is he a 8th grader this year?
He'll be in 7th grade.
7th grade, and he's playing football at Bulls. Correct me if I'm wrong.
He plays at Bulls Gap.
Okay. So kind of how's your relationship with your brother? Because it just seems like, y'all are night and day difference. You're more laid back, and he's wound up.
So, he's transitioning into a new football position. So he played running back, a little bit of running back and linebacker. He's told me that they've actually got him playing on the offensive line. So I'm glad I'll be able to get to help him learn some different things like that. I've played offensive line the entire time I played football, which is about 5 years. So I've not played that long, but I know a few things. I've learned from many great people in this area and out of this area as well, going to training sessions and stuff like that. So, but Noah we are polar opposites. He is off the chains and I'm just go with the flow kind of guy. So
well, we're going to take a break here. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about your future endeavors and also the future of the football team and a few of your expectations. So stay tuned as we'll be back with Elijah Housewright right after this.
Choosing jewelry is a personal decision, and people often have different needs and taste. At Diamond Exchange of Kingsport, we believe in offering superior quality, value, and service with jewelry from Gabriel & Company, Effie, Pandora, Citizen Watch, and more. Diamond Exchange is your greatest resource for your next jewelry purchase. It's about more than just trust. It's about being a community and a family. Visit us at Diamond Exchange of Kingsport, 1901 Fort Henry Drive in Kingsport.
Elijah, one of the reasons you're here today with us is, your role with Volunteer Sports Network. Tell me a little bit about your role that you've played and why you've wanted to help out with VSN this past year.
I just wanted to bring more coverage to volunteer athletics. Sometimes people don't see what all track has done or cross country, or maybe not even the basketball team or the football team, of cheer and baseball and softball, all those different sports. Some people might not even realize, well, I didn't even know we had a cross country team. So I'm just glad we got to bring that coverage out to all the athletics.
One of my biggest, I guess, memories with Volunteer Sports Network is the night we were hosting regions here in basketball, and you got to dress up as Freddie the Falcon.
Yeah.
So tell me how you got coerced into that.
So Hannah was just like, hey, I need you to dress up for this Freddie the Falcon. We're going to do this giveaway. I don't even remember what it was. And so I said, okay. And so I dressed up in there, went during halftime. So I don't even remember when I went. Anyways, I got in there and I put it on. I was like, this is going to be a long 15, 30 minutes, however long I was in that thing.
I feel like you were in it for quite a while.
I don't know how long it was.
Because I remember you
came up
to me several times whenever I was trying to do radio.
Yeah.
And you were giving me a hard time. So
yeah.
Was it hot in there?
Oh, don't even get me started on how hot it was. It was burning up in that thing. But I was glad I got to do that. I got to see, when you're watching a basketball game, you're not looking behind you. So I got to see all the people in the stands from volunteers, some people I'd never seen before at a basketball game, So I was glad I got to do that. But it was very hot in that costume.
That's the thing too is, seeing this community brought together during, like basketball season, football season, baseball, tennis, any type of like athletic stuff that goes on here. Just the communities always seems to come out and give their support to athletics. And, during regions, I mean, this place was packed.
Yeah.
And for you to get out there, that took. So, did any of your friends give you a hard time with wearing it, or did anybody know?
At first, nobody knew. I tried to nonchalantly get up and go change, but I don't really think anybody knew until Hannah over here, who runs her mouth, and and a few people I had told, and then it got out that he was in that costume.
So that leads us over. This past April, you had a scholarship named after you. Tell me a little bit about that, and how you felt about that.
I was very grateful to receive the scholarship. I honestly, it was unexpected. I thought, we're just going to go to this board meeting and talk about what all is going to happen and introduce the board members and stuff. But I had no idea. I am very grateful that I got to receive that, and it was named after me as well. So, and so I'm glad that our legacy with Volunteer Sports Network gets to carry on to several other students throughout the years, hopefully, who might receive this scholarship.
What do you see or Volunteer Sports Network being in the future? What would you like to see, or what would you think people would like to see? And what do you want to contribute as well to the program?
So, throughout the next 2 years until I graduate, I would like to remain a constant figure inside the organization. My current title now is student executive, and I'd like to remain in that role. But overall, I want to see live coverage of each sport that we are able to. Sometimes it's hard to do live coverage of certain sports. So.
And sometimes there's just not enough hands for and enough people.
Cross country, they've run out in the woods. I mean, you can't really.
I'm sure Hannah would like to have about 4 or 5 of herself cloned to be everywhere.
I just want to see. We already cover we do cover every sport, and I'm glad that we get to do that. But more consistent coverage when we get more help and stuff like that. So.
I just know I've had a lot of people, and even I had somebody come up to me today that she coaches volleyball now. And she's like, Josh, I wish we had something like we're doing now whenever we were here.
Yeah.
And I said, that would have been awesome, because I just feel like, not being able to, prior to us trying to help out and get these student athletes, the recognition they deserve, I believe that, that was a disservice to them, because, a lot of stuff can just get missed out on. And, going back and looking these, past, this past year, all the achievements that our sports programs have, achieved, and going back, you're like, well, goodness, they've achieved a lot.
Yeah.
And, I'm hoping we can continue to build on it, and like yourself and, other students and other athletes that want to help us, I'm hoping they get more involved too. So we're always looking for help.
Yep.
You've been a good ambassador for VSN. It's kind of like the bridge from the program of VSN to the student.
Mm-hmm.
So what made you, I guess, be as successful as you are being that bridge? Like, what are some programs or anything that's built you for that type of, like, leadership, so to say?
So obviously my teaching as a profession class has really helped me build those communication skills, because we have to get up and teach in front of the class. And so some people struggle talking in front of a crowd. And so I got more comfortable talking with other people about certain aspects of the sports network. And so I also participate in 4-H, and I attend several leadership conferences and state leadership conferences throughout the year, and that's really helped me build my leadership skills and as well as my citizenship skills. So I actually placed third place in a leadership portfolio that I done of my time in outdoor recreation. So that really helped me out there.
What are some of the other things, you touched on 4-H, Ben, that big thing, that driving force behind kind of who you are. So what are some things, tell me a little bit about what you do when you do what you do with 4-H.
So we help out with some local stuff, like we go out to the senior centers and maybe teach them how to use their phone or their computer. We do little things like that, and then at our leadership conferences, we definitely have fun at those, but we have different sessions that we attend throughout the day or throughout the week, however long we're there, and we learn several things like communications, getting up in front of the crowd and talking. That's a big thing in 4-H. If you want to be an officer role, you've got to be able to talk in front of every single person that's there. So different things like that. And some more local things we do as well is we host a chicken dinner every year.
Mm-hmm.
And so our students that are in 4-H in our honor club program, we usually help out with that. Last year I made some of the best coleslaw you'll ever eat. That's what I made at the chicken dinner. It was very...
Well, then you need to make me some. I love coleslaw.
Oh, my gosh.
You're going to have to, either make it or, give me the recipe or something.
It was good. Very sugary.
So where does this dinner usually take place at? Is it
it's at the 4-H
at the camp,
at the extension office.
And where is it located at?
Route 66.
Oh, okay.
Actually, on 66 there.
Okay.
Right before you hit the
I
where
put
the
you on
speed
the
limit
spot.
change. Yeah, I don't know the address.
So you know where the speed
I know.
limit changes at, but
Yeah.
you don't know.
Speed limit right there where it changes to 55, right past Farm Bureau in Rogersville.
Okay, perfect. We're going to change a little bit of gears. Talk about football season. We're think 30 some days out. Maybe on the higher side. So, change of coaching staff. Coach Castle, we're all familiar with him.
Mm-hmm.
He was here my senior year. He came in along with Coach Jones, and really kind of started to change the culture a little bit then. So, tell me, how it's been this off season and coming into your junior year.
So we really build on those mistakes and stuff like that from the previous years. So we build on things like that throughout the off season and throughout spring and summer workouts and practices. So Just little things like that. And, Coach Jones being here helping out with the linemen and our defense along with Coach Summers. And we have Coach K, who helps out in almost every position. He is very knowledgeable, more than I thought, because I've never really got the chance to work with him on some lineman stuff. And he played left tackle in high school, and I had no idea. And
yeah, I think he played down in Alcoa. He was telling me for, I guess, several years he played down there.
Yeah.
Won a couple state championships.
Yeah. So very grateful that I have him there in my corner as well as my school counselor. So obviously got you helping out with some quarterback stuff, offensive things like that. And we have Pops, best of the best coaching you'll ever get. He helps out in any way he can, anything you need him to do. So I'm very grateful for him and this coaching staff that we have.
I've always known Coach Castle, and to be that kind of coach. I mean, he would do anything for you. Like you're saying, he'd give you the shirt off his back, and if you don't understand something, he'll talk you through it. And what are some of your expectations for this season? Obviously the past couple seasons not been how you would like it, but you can't dwell in the past. So what can you take from those past two seasons to kind of spring you forward into this 2024-2025 season?
Definitely being more consistent with how we run our plays and stuff. We got to be more consistent in our blocking schemes, our steps and stuff like that. Just picking up your guy, knowing who you have to block, or knowing where you need to step, or knowing which route you need to run, knowing whether you're on or off the ball. Just those little things that you might not think would make a big difference, but in reality, when you look at it on film and things like that from previous times, it really makes a big difference in the results of a ball game.
Well, I think it goes because I had a coach, and I think this kind of tracks right with what you're saying. A lot of the game of football is played with the 6 inches between your ears.
Yeah.
Your mental toughness, your to do the right things when you're tired and when you're down, and trying to just pick yourself up after the play and continue to go. So
one thing Coach Mack had really preached on was being mentally tough. That's one thing that you need to be. If you're not mentally tough, you can't play football. I mean, it's a mental game. It's knowing what you need to do, just being that kind of consistent stuff. That's one thing he really preached on, and I think he done a decent job preaching on that. I think some things it was a personal issue, but I think that we're definitely going to improve on that stuff.
So West Ridge is the first game. Obviously you're going to start, if not already, start scouting them, kind of figure out their tendencies and stuff, and kind of see how y'all match up come the first of the season. You're more offensive minded. You're starting center. Without giving too much away, what do you think is going to be the strong suit for this offense this year, for y'all to be able to put some points on the board and win some ball games?
Like I said earlier, being consistent with our stuff, and being able to run the ball, being able to block for our quarterback and our running backs. We got to be able to block first off. The offensive line, I think we have a pretty strong offensive line up front. We're pretty good. So I think, if we can block, we can run that ball down their mouth. So I think that's one thing that we are going to be decent at. And those quick short passes and stuff like that, I think we'll stand a chance with a few teams on our schedule there.
Elijah, we're gonna step away, take one more break before we wrap it up on this edition, so stay tuned to our podcast.
A home is more than a pile of bricks and shingles. It's where you trade out the tie for a sweatshirt. It's where you share a home-cooked meal with your loved ones. It's where you live. Here at Mount Carmel Farm Bureau Insurance, we know that. It's where you find great rates, where you find reliable agents, and the best service in Tennessee. Drop by our home at 415 Main Street East in Mount Carmel. Farm Bureau Insurance. Mount Carmel turns to us.
Elijah, we're going to talk about the conference that Volunteer has to play in. You have Elizabeth, and you have Greenville, both state powerhouses. Obviously you have Cherokee as your, in-county rival. And then, you have to travel down to Northview. Seemed like we were down there forever that night, making sure.
We were there forever. That's the thing.
So tell me a little bit about, traveling and playing these teams in your conference. And I think you have them pulled up over there. But, tell me a little bit about them and what you're hoping to see this year.
I'll just go down the list here. Talk about all of them all at once.
All right, that's fine.
So some things I look at with Westridge is they have some very size-wise. They're very talented. They have one guy, number 77. He's pretty good. So I think we'll definitely have some competition there. But like I'm going to say with the rest of them, that don't mean we don't have there's a chance that we could win with any team that we play here.
Yeah.
So I always try to stay positive with things like that. So
they have a quarterback, and I think he's going into his junior year too, and Trey Frazier.
Yeah, he's pretty good too.
And he likes to sling the ball around the field. He can get outside the pocket and run.
Yeah.
But I don't know how the schedule looks up right now because I don't have it in front of me. But move on. Talk about Cherokee and the rest that you got pulled up over there.
So on August 30th we play at Lakeway. Last year, actually, before that game got cut short, we had 12 points on the board versus their 24.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that will be an interesting game. I wish we could have finished out that game because
I hate to interrupt you, but what I was telling everybody, because I think you're about to go down the same road.
Yeah.
If we would have played the rest of that game, I think we would have won because we had momentum before that storm. Kind of set in.
When we all got up there, we were hoping Coach Mackey, they went into the coach's office to do whatever they were doing,
Yeah.
And we were all disappointed at that time, or at least I was. I can't speak for everybody,
yeah.
but I could tell everybody we were upset,
mm-hmm.
and we wanted to finish that game because 12 points, I'm pretty sure was the most points we put up the whole season. If I'm not mistaken, maybe it was Cherokee. I don't know.
I would have to go back and look,
but that was a lot of points versus their 24, and
right.
and it was only second quarter.
Because I think they started out scoring, and they got that onside kick, and then they went up and they got up quick, and then we kind of started putting the offensive drives
mm-hmm.
together, moving the ball, and then of course, so it's going to be that night's always going to be a what if not.
Yeah, I wish we could have finished that game out. I think we stood a chance at winning there. Sullivan East, I read an article. They got a new coach, or a new assistant coach.
Mm-hmm.
And he coached college football.
Yeah, he was like the founder of the air raid offense.
Yeah, that's what I looked
them.
up and seen that. So
and I forget his name right off the bat. I need to, unless you want to pull it up real quick. But I like to know how they got him over there, and Drake Fisher, their quarterback,
mm-hmm.
he really good passer, put up a lot of yards, and they were already an air raid offense. They threw the ball everywhere last year on everybody, and I think he ended up committing to Presbyterian,
mm-hmm.
and that's where he's going to go play his ball at. Let's focus on now. I think Cherokee's next. Talk a little bit about it and what that rivalry means to the community.
We don't say that C word around here, so.
Sorry, I got to look from the media standpoint of it. I
True,
remember, making sure that we didn't say that word, especially during the weeks of the game.
That's a big no-no around here. We cross out every C in this building. So, anyways, so the Cherokee game, I'm going to talk about how it is on a personal standpoint. To me, going into that game, I think about I'm going to play it like we're playing Westridge or Northview Academy
mm-hmm.
or Greenville. It's another game, although it is still that rival game.
Mm-hmm.
It is an important game. It is a district game,
mm-hmm.
so I don't have a different mindset going into that. I have the same mindset as I would playing any other game, but to the community, that is a different type of thing because
mm-hmm.
we are rivals and they're on the other end of the county. So
so
it is a pretty big game for some other players, our coaches, and maybe the community. So just to me, my personal opinion on that is I don't really bring the rivalry part into it, and that's something that I have taken on from Coach Mack. That's how he went into that game. Everybody wants to win that game, both teams, and
we've had fairly recent success with that.
Yeah, and like you said a few days ago, you've mentioned it could go either way. Whether one team's 10-0 or whatever our record is, they could have a 4-0 record versus a 0-4 record, and one team could blow it out. The 0-4 team, maybe it was them or us. We blow them out of the water.
Yeah.
Or it could be a close game, or just those stuff like that. I think is interesting.
It's going to be another exciting matchup.
Yeah.
They'll be in. It's always something that that really makes that game stand out. And it'll be at home this year. Back here in Churchill.
Not to cut you off there, but I will mention my freshman year. It was within 1 point. We lost by 1 point, and we both had young teams. So now I think at this point in both of our season or timelines, I think we have pretty equal teams in terms of players at
like
where they are, their
returning
experience and stuff, because they have a junior quarterback. He'll be a junior, and our quarterback, I think Jameson has really learned a lot going to camps and stuff like that and getting that playing time. So I think
Coach Castle, and I don't mean to cut you off, but Coach Castle, I talked about that he believed with Jameson being able to get time on the mound in baseball, build up his confidence a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And going down there at practice and watching him, throw the ball around. I mean, he looks like he's got a lot more, you could tell his technique and his work has, improved a lot this off season. Another thing, I want to touch on is kind of the rivalries we've made towards, our West with Northview and Granger.
Yeah.
My team was the first team my senior year to play Northview.
Mm-hmm.
First year Northview ever had a football team, and they ended up beating us by a few touchdowns. But, that's kind of a rivalry, we've picked up. And then Granger is one of those games where, it could go either way as well, I think.
And that Sylvan East game as well 2 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
we also only lost by 1 point. And if I'm not mistaken, that was our last game of the season. So I think Sylvan East, Cherokee, Granger, and Northview, that's some of those rivalries that are important to some other people. Maybe not me, but, I mean, every game is important to me. So.
Yeah. Well, Elijah, it's been fun talking to you today. Looking forward to working with you, both on and off the field. And I appreciate you being here today.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in with us today on Let's Talk. Let's Talk is brought to you by the support of Diamond Exchange of Kingsport, Farm Bureau of Mount Carmel, and Dairy Cup of Mount Carmel, in collaboration with VHS Broadcasting. You can find out more about Volunteer Sports Network, including previous episodes of Let's Talk, by visiting our website at vhssportsnetwork.com or finding us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or X. You can find all athletic schedules for the fall 2024 sports, including football, girls volleyball, girls soccer, golf, and cross country, listed on our website. If you would like for your business to be a part of the Volunteer Sports Network, please reach out to President Hannah Sawyer at 423-754-6528 or by emailing us at vhssportsnetwork@gmail.com. Volunteer Sports Network is a nonprofit organization that provides opportunities to those in and around Volunteer High School. Volunteer Sports Network is not owned or operated by Volunteer High School.